Hello everyone, welcome back to the Fire of Embers. Sabo is alive again for once, maybe.
Yep.
I don't buy it. I think they just got a replacement. It just sound. We just had to find someone who sounds just as creepy and weird.
Yes.
His words, not mine.
His name
I
is
am
Carlos.
totally a real person.
His name is Carlos. We found him.
Ah, this is a joke.
So, yeah, so we were talking about Pokemon before recording. I did, like I said, I haven't seen a whole lot of the new shit yet. I saw like like I mentioned, I saw the professor, her assistant, the tournament, the league champion. I've seen his little brother, who I already don't care about.
You mean his little brother who's just going to be the token rival, but the friendly rival, because having just an asshole rival is like not a
We
thing.
rarely have them.
Nobody liked that, apparently.
Well, everyone loved it. Everyone loves
Everyone
Gary.
loved that.
I guess maybe
Everyone
not
loved
Japan.
Gary. That's because Japan's full of babies.
Japan didn't. Japan's like, no, rivals must be respectful.
Right here.
Why?
And not just, I don't know.
Ready for order.
Because they're full of babies.
It's no fun if he's not smelling you later.
You want me?
Hello, ass!
I watched it and it's like, cool, Pokemon are kaiju now, but like,
Oh yeah, that's the gimmick.
oh, they make
That's the
them.
gimmick now.
So it's like Mega Revolution, right? But it just makes them bigger, and then
See it done.
it only lasts 3 turns, and it's like, oh, okay, so this is going to be the bullshit overpowered like gimmick. It's going to completely change the entire like Pokemon metagame.
And why
Until
couldn't they just stick with Mega Evolution? I like that.
probably because I don't know, it just feels like Pokemon Company or Game Freak or whoever don't actually know what to do with Pokemon at the moment.
Yes.
Because it's like every game, it's like, oh, here's this big new thing that we're just going to pretend didn't happen next game.
Okay.
Remember Z moves?
How's this?
They
I
don't.
never used them.
I use them occasionally.
Well, also,
Are they gone now?
I mean, they'll probably still be in, but one of those like post game things. But it's going to be like with Sun and Moon. Where,
Well, the big forums, from what I understand, are there for like raid battles.
they can also be done in
Yeah.
regular battles as well. But you can only, it's like the same sort of thing. You can only have one Dynamax on your team per fight or per battle, and you can only have one Pokemon. Only one Pokemon can do it, and it only lasts 3 turns. So it's like, you said, it's more like a more restricted Mega Evolution, but it does it. But you know, Mega Evolution had the added advantage of changing types and giving extra abilities, plus the big stat upgrades.
Right.
Whereas Dynamax is just, hey, look, did you like Raichu? Well, no, it's big Raichu. It's basically,
Oh shit!
it's
A
basically,
big ass rat!
it's basically that one episode of Pokemon, the original series, where Jigglypuff and Gengar fought, or back.
That's a bad rat! Oh my god, I can just shoot these arrows indefinitely.
Arrow shall blot out the sun.
We shall stand in the shade.
Oh god.
But yeah,
But is that all the new Pokemon stuff? I mean, we saw like some of the new Pokemon. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen a couple.
well,
Have they shown the other forms of the starters yet?
no, literally all we got the Shep, which is still stupid. The turtle, which is also stupid, and then the plant thing, and we got to see its evolution. I don't remember.
Also
that.
the bird.
Oh yeah, Corviknight, because he's actually cool. I keep forgetting him because I think, wow, that's actually interesting and fun design. It can't be in this game where everything else just looks so. Doggo with sword. Surprised you're not mad about that, because that's literally a Dark Souls boss. We took a dog.
I mean, it's also Okami. I mean, Amaterasu.
Yeah,
Doggo with sword isn't exactly like a Dark Souls only thing. Good job. Good job. You're like those people that say X is the Dark Souls of Y. Good job, Train Man. You've done it.
too bad like none of the promotional art or any of like crossover stuff gave Almatrasu her glaives, just given them mirror, which is stupid because the reflector's the worst weapon in the game. In that game, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, even though you wouldn't use the glaive because the glaive was best weapon, or because I guess actually the benefit was that I remember some of the glaives could count as elemental things, so you could use them as like the way you had to like trace like water or fire or electricity onto an object. I don't think any of the other like beads were awful.
Yeah, I'm
Like
not
Dark
really sure.
Souls or Okami?
Okami.
Oh, okay, I guess I don't remember that happening in Dark Souls.
If you want to be good at Dark Souls, play Dark Souls 1, play Pyromancer.
I just remember trying Dark Souls 3 and like losing to the first boss because he suddenly grew a Tyrannosaurus face out of his shoulder.
Yeah, that sounds like
He
Dark
was
Souls.
really powerful. And I was like, okay.
So, yeah, that's you only access his middle form, his semi-perfect form.
And the guy's like, no, the trick to Dark Souls is you have to die 30 times so that you can predict every single one of their movements. And I was like, that sounds like it'll take forever. And he goes, yes.
I mean, that's just how classic games used to work.
Half the game is just waiting for the load screen.
Or unbearable lag in Blighttown.
Ah. I always love a game where you're supposed to die repeatedly and it takes forever to load. I think that's actually really good.
I mean, to be
I think that's the best way for a game to run.
To be fair, it does get better about that. Depends on the version you're running. Like, I believe all of these sort of versions since like original PS or Xbox 360, PS3 releases have drastically improved like respawn times, but including like PC. But yeah, I don't know. I played X and Y and I liked them. I played Sun and Moon and I liked them, and then I just couldn't actually bring myself to finish Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
I didn't bother with them. Since the story was basically the same but different, I was like, I got no interest.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Because I mean, I like Sun and Moon's story, but it's like if it's the same but just different universe, I don't really care.
It should have just called it Sun and Moon Golden.
Except for no, it's more different than that, but still, it's basically
like Persona 4 Golden.
I know what you're doing.
No, I meant the anime. I was talking more specific about the anime because I think more on that and how hilariously, like, shamefully lazy cash grab that was.
Yes. They weren't trying very hard.
They weren't trying at all. Like, goddamn.
Gold in the game is actually fun.
But the difference is, you can at least make the argument that the Persona 4 Golden, like, was a remake of a game that was like nearing 10 years old at that point. That also was on a system that was
when Gold came out, wasn't 10 years old.
It was only like 6.
Hmm.
It was only like 6.
What year did Persona 4 actually come out?
I know it came out when I think like it came out in like it was either 2008 or 2009.
Yeah, check this.
Yeah, check it real quick because I know I played it when I was just starting college.
2008.
Okay, so yeah, I was right.
Golden was like 2013. So about 5 years. It isn't bad. I mean, Fest came out like a year after 3.
There's like 7 versions of 3.
No, there's
Okay,
only 3.
that's an exaggeration. There's only 3.
That's an exaggeration. There's only 3. There's Fest and then there's Portable. Speaking of that,
It took them 3 versions to get it right.
Fest is fine.
Fest is fine, the answer is not.
I mean, that's just because the answer is incredibly, incredibly cheap.
Yes.
Like, just cheap and wow, this is just dumb way. Because it's like Persona 3 is reasonably challenging. New Game Plus is reasonably challenging.
Especially I love the challenge of your characters drinking dumb bitch juice.
That's why you just don't pick Mitsuru.
See, that's why what you do is you play a portable instead, so you can control them.
That does require having a PSP, which is a bit harder. To legitimately get than like the PS2.
To be fair, the game's difficulty is kind of balanced around the fact that like portable is really easy, like even on the hardest difficulty. Like just because it's a lot, the game doesn't expect like your teammates.
The
to
challenge comes from artificial difficulty.
Yeah, it's like wait, your healer's actually healing you? That's not supposed to happen.
Wait, the game functions like a video game that isn't from fucking 1992?
I mean, it's Atlas. There's
Also you can block, which is like, you know, a novel idea at the time.
remember Atlas is like 20 years behind every other major game developer. It's like when everyone else was like, man, region locking is dumb, Atlas was like, oh, you know what's a really cool idea? Region locking to screw over our Japanese audience.
This will teach you for trying to import, you fucking clowns.
We don't want them reverse importing and not having to pay ridiculously rip-off prices for it.
So
it's kind of sad when when importing is cheaper.
I mean, that's also that isn't completely by design though. So the problem with Japan's entertainment industry is they know they can exploit people and get away with it. It's like that's the thing, is that even like die-hard fans won't pay extortionate amounts of money for like subpar products a lot of the time. And Western developers kind of know this.
No wonder Sailor Moon Crystal got canceled. But wait, Western developers know this.
Most of the time they know this.
I mean, sometimes they push their luck, but you know.
Well, I guess the other point is we have stricter governing bodies that say, okay, so you need to have more balanced price range.
Star Wars.
Well, I mean,
Battlefront.
I mean, Star Wars is dead anyway. Who cares?
EA, Activision,
Ubisoft,
Bethesda.
I mean, even Japan has their limits. You know, like even Bandai Namco was like, okay, we're pushing it too hard.
Which time? On which product?
That was with the Tales of Graces, the PS3 re-release.
Oh, were they like asking for fuckloads for it?
Well, no, it's just that like they intentionally did a terrible job on the first version because they knew they were going to re-release a newer version in the year that they want everyone to buy instead. So.
Oh yeah, on the Wii.
On the Wii, like if you tried to do a new game plus on the Wii, like I think your console apparently just like starts smoking and explodes. So, there and after that, they notably toned back the okay, let's just re-release everything a year later on a different console.
Ah, the final
so
mix.
Like okay, we might have been pushing things too hard there.
When do we get Kingdom Hearts 3 final mix?
They haven't done a final mix since that one, I think, because Zillia didn't have one, I don't think.
No, well after that they started doing 10-year-long re-releases of games that didn't get a Western release anyway.
Yeah, because they did Vesperia.
They did Vesperia and they did Symphonia, and both of the draw was like, we're releasing the PS2 and PS3 re-release that you guys didn't actually get. And then with Graces, they just gave us the full PS3 version to start with. They didn't give us the Wii version, which is good because the Wii version doesn't work very well. And yeah, after
I heard that.
And after that, they basically stopped with the updated re-releases. So they did learn their lesson, only because they were like ready to riot.
But yeah,
so, you know,
I will say that Namco overall has gotten a lot better with that kind of stuff in general.
Maybe Bandai was a positive influence on them. Nah.
They've been Namco Bandai for a long time. I think they became Namco Bandai sometime during the PS2 actually, I think maybe. It's been a long time since they switched over.
I could look it up, but I'm too lazy.
That's entirely fair. I'm playing a video game, so I can't.
Yeah,
So, oh well, we'll just have. I mean, we can talk. We'll have more things to talk about Persona next time there's a big concert or live event or 3D movie.
actually, they released the trailer for the new girl.
Oh
last
yeah,
night.
well, they,
Oh yeah, they showed some of her stuff and like also her all-out attack animation.
yes, I did vaguely hear about this. And by vaguely hear, I mean
I was expecting better results.
shit's everywhere.
But
Well, we'll see.
but
It's
you,
her persona is Cinderella, apparently.
that's not a
Also-
rebel. That's just a thief.
I mean, she rebelled against.
But you know, it works at the.
she didn't actually. They technically rebel against her family.
Oh wait, Cinderella. For some reason, my brain fucked up, and for some reason, and feel free to laugh. For some reason, my brain went to Goldilocks. I don't know fucking why.
Goldilocks wasn't a rebel. She broke into the.
I mean, she was also a rebel, but yes.
She broke into the place and robbed it. Robbed
Yeah.
it blind.
She robbed
And then
the blind,
slept in
ate
their
all
beds.
food, and then had to have the gall to sleep in their bed afterwards.
Snow White.
The fucking audacity of this bitch.
I mean, it's all because they're bears. Bears are second-class citizens, I guess, in the forest.
I guess
Bear lives matter.
they just want to live with the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
No.
Oh,
Aw.
a little,
No.
please.
You have no. Sorry. Well, you don't understand. You didn't get the corporate memo. We have to forget all of those old movies. We need to remember the new live-action versions now. Enough of trying to sing a song. Get to rap in the song, Dan.
No, I don't want
Didn't they
that.
do a live action of the Jungle Book like twice?
There's like 4 different.
Yes.
That's because the rights are. That's because it's public domain now. Anyone can do it.
But 2 of them were by Disney.
Yeah. Well. I just said
Disney did one back in like the 90s, because I remember seeing it as a kid and just being kind of confused by it.
We can defeat them.
Like I said, it's public domain now. Anyone can do it. So Disney just used it.
I mean, also Sherlock Holmes is public domain.
Sort of. So this is actually very confusing. So not every Sherlock Holmes thing is actually public domain yet.
Oh,
There's
I
like
know James Bond is the character is public domain now. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
so basically it's just like there's like a lot of argument over some stories that were written that still technically fall within like copyright. It's weird. So like there are a lot of things are public domain, like the actual character is, but some specific stories are not.
Huh.
I also know that the Conan Doyle estate, or whoever owns what's left of those rights, is incredibly litigious. So you always have to be careful when you're doing any Sherlock Holmes things to not use anything from those stories that they still want you to, that they still cling to. Which is probably why like so many stories are, or so many Sherlock Holmes adaptations are very kind of loose. I mean, that's why it's like, oh, here's Moriarty in a story that's not quite like the one Moriarty was in, or Irene Adler is a character who's very different from from the original story she's in.
Or we change Sherlock to Basil and we make him a mouse.
Mm.
That movie was awesome. What are you talking about?
It was, but I'm just wanted to make the joke. It's a really good movie. I love the Mouse Detective.
Like
I mean-
one of the highest points of Vincent Price's career.
Yeah. Also, did you know they? I don't know if I mentioned it in recording or not, and I don't know if I did say it before to you guys, but he requested that the "Goodbye So Soon" song be played at his funeral.
Oh, really?
I mean,
Yeah.
fitting.
Did they do it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Good job, Vincent Price.
I love Ratigan. He's probably like one of my favorite villains, along with Gizmo from Emperor's New Groove.
They finally put Vincent Price back in the French version of the Haunted Mansion. It only took them 20 years.
Yeah, well, they're French. They're like 20 years. They're
Like
backwards.
they recorded a Vincent Price recording, but like after a month or two, the French were like, "No, we want it in French. We can't understand this guy."
That's weird, because most French people speak better English than you do.
Well, the French hated Disneyland Paris when it first came out, so
No, the
probably just
French.
complaining for the sake of complaining.
No, the French hated the fact that there was this big American like corporate thing that opened up in Paris.
Probably.
You have to understand, the French don't like people who aren't French.
What changed?
Money.
I'm gonna say they like Disneyland Paris now.
Well, okay, so here's how it works. Here's how France works, right? People introduce a thing. It could be anything. It could be laws. It could be legislation. It could be like great sociological change, or it could just be a theme park. The people of France, get up in arms. They riot. They burn a few cars. They destroy a few crops. They rape, pillage, murder, all that jazz. And then they'll go, oh, all right, well, we'll take it. And then they fuck off for a few years until the next thing comes along that we get to be in the bonnet about.
So they resist violently, but eventually give up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oui, oui.
Or
Sounds
rather, just more accept that they're
Our hearts and minds, those are our
On.
greatest strengths.
Doggo.
We can win this.
Hi, dogs. Whose dog is that?
Um, damn it.
It sounds like a really tiny doggo.
He is a very tiny doggo.
Very loud doggo as well.
Well, they always are. Little dogs are always fucking loud.
I see enemy reinforcements.
I don't know how it happens, but they're always fucking loud.
Probably like just do the pitch of their bark.
I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Joining us, the co-commentator. Stop.
Barco the bark bark.
Oh, never mind. Back.
He's back.
With a vengeance.
Finally, he's back. The co-commentator that we've been waiting for.
It's a good day.
Savo's dog.
It's a good day to bark hard.
I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. And I'm all out of bubble
That's
gum.
funny. I actually watched They Live the other day.
Oh.
Just because that's what that line's
Okay,
actually.
he's gotten quieter now.
Well, I mean, I like it. So, have you ever seen They Live?
No, honestly.
Okay, so you know it's
Is
the
that
film.
is that the one with the glasses?
No, it's the one with Rowdy Roddy Piper and Keith David.
Yeah, and the sunglasses.
Oh, the sunglasses. Okay. When you said glasses, I thought you meant like something else. Yeah, and it's the one where they have
Oh
like
yeah,
a,
yeah.
it's the
I've
one-
seen that one.
Ye-
it's the one where they have like a 6-minute fight scene between Keith David and Rowdy Roddy Piper, and the script was literally just they fight continued for 6 pages.
We've got nothing to worry about.
It's just ridiculous.
That's gonna go to,
But yeah, it's fun. You know, it's a John Carpenter movie, so it came out, everyone hated it, nobody saw it, and then years later everyone's like, oh, this movie's pretty good.
that's a recurring thing I find with a lot of movies where everyone's like, oh, this is terrible, and then years later they love it.
Yeah, well, it's because,
Sucks. Oh wait, it's not that bad.
well, it's like a combination thing. So, like, obviously back many years ago, you had the issue where a lot of people just kind of
Of course.
didn't really talk much about movies. By which I mean, because obviously everything's more like insular communities. You know, it's like what everything spreads by word of mouth, which means it only has like a semi-limited like area it can travel around. If that makes sense. You like think of it like this: if you liked a movie when you were a kid, then like more often than not you just tell your friends, right? And they might tell their friends, but that kind of limits you to just like one elementary school, and it's gonna get that information's gonna get passed around.
Okay,
quick.
see, because basically you're talking because the internet's a thing now.
And yeah, the internet's now. I mean, that has caused other problems, in the sense that like because
I'll
people
be
are
on the internet posting my displeasure.
well, kind of that's another part of the problem because people are generally sheep. They do get the problem with people sort of parroting views and as opposed to
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, what was it? I talked about this before. and I'm gonna mention the guy who liked to show who liked to ask for dick pics from minors with Pro Jared. Like, remember I talked about this before, where before this all happened, and he did his video on Sonic Adventure 2. So before that video specifically, hating on Adventure 2 would get you a lot of flack, which is something I used to get a fuckload of back in the day because I used to rip on it.
What?
It's not
How dare you not like Adventure 2? I'll cut you.
I'm literally doing a playthrough where it's just devolved in me getting annoyed at the game more and more. But the so back then, like, yeah, I would pretty much get that. Like, I remember being told once in a friend's video, because I said I didn't like that game and I didn't like Mario Sunshine. I don't think either of them are really good. I was told that I, in fact, don't like any video games.
And that's why you got
Hold on,
fired.
I have a reaction image for this.
And that's why you got fired.
Answer me.
Yeah. But it's just so funny, like, how that's, like people's, like, take on it. Now,
you got
we're
fired
Adventure
from what?
Oh, so he had a Heroes playthrough, and my controversial takes made like a couple people, made like 2 people unsubscribe. So he's like, "Hey, I can't have you in the videos anymore." And except for like we're just gonna finish you with this last part of this route. And I was like, "Okay." And then I waited until the middle of the video to just fucking belt out that he did this.
Yeah.
Because it would be harder for him to edit out. Because I'm that kind of guy. I'm that petty.
And then you fired me from something.
Actually, no, I never fired you from
I
anything.
thought it was a thing we were doing before sort of mass resurgence together, and then just wasn't it like Sonic episode Sonic 4 or something we were doing?
I think, his scheduling issues was the problem.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. If that was the problem, I wouldn't be doing this long-running thing with you, where the views are usually not the best, if I'm gonna be frank.
Oh,
They don't like us.
I think it's more me because
It's more random, it depends on the, what we end up talking about, I think.
I mean, that's what happens when you live by controversy. No, this is the beauty of it. As long as we don't ever do anything, we never put ourselves in awkward positions. Let's make a pact here, guys. None of us are going to ever try and solicit sex from underage girls. From this point
I mean,
onwards.
Okay.
oh, I have to make a pact for this? Oh god, that's a little hard. Of course I'm not gonna fucking do that!
I mean, it should sound obvious, shouldn't it? Like, why would anyone do that?
Yeah.
And yet, here we are.
Yeah, Pro Jared.
I mean, even before Pro Jared.
I know, there's other ones, but I just wanted to make fun of Pro Jared. But, like,
Yeah,
what
like
my point was...
that kind of goes for itself.
But my point, what I'll try and mention with the adventure thing was, after him being popular, he made his Adventure 2 video where he just ragged on the game, and then it became more popular to hate on it.
Mm-hmm.
Where before, I got the shit I did before. Because a lot of people online do not have their own personal original thoughts.
Yes.
They usually just parrot something else somebody else says.
Here's,
Like, I have that one person at work who literally will try to quote Plague of Gripes at me, and it's really funny.
well, like, here's the problem, right? And you can also blame this on channels like CinemaSins.
Oh, CinemaSins is a mistake.
I mean, CinemaSins is that thing where it's like a joke that went on. It's clearly a joke that's gone on too long.
It's a joke that went on too long and then started believing itself.
So, like, but it's that sort of level of problem where it's because CinemaSins is kind of the way it's set up, where it's just kind of, I don't really want to call it comedy, but it is intended to be like a comedy thing. But people do, but like, the problem is that the internet is not just miserable 20, 30-something-year-olds anymore. It's populated by kids and teenagers who are, let's be honest, undeserving of a keyboard. I mean, I do legitimately think, like, that there needs to be stronger regulations on basically people below the age of 17 shouldn't be allowed on the internet. Ever.
I think on some sites you're not supposed to be a certain age.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
But like that.
when
stop people.
when I was 13, I didn't.
Hell,
pay attention.
I went on stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, I did it too. Like, I'm not gonna fucking lie. I mean, I think I've mentioned the origin of my channel's name like 100 times.
Here's the problem, right?
Because it was for the audience, for those of you who haven't heard me say this. So the name was a gag because I wanted to watch this Juggernaut bitch video, but it was age restricted and I didn't have an account at the time. So I actively tried to make an account that, at the time, didn't sound like the age I was pretending to be. And I went the extra mile with it, where I called it Drunken Dan. And I was like, but at that time too, for your age, you could put pretty much whatever the fuck you wanted. And I remember my age was something ridiculously high, like over 100 or something. And I named myself Drunken Dan because I was like, this sounds like the name that someone my age would just put to try to sound like they're older than they are. Just because, again, I was trying to be funny. Haha.
It's okay. Shouldn't just go with like Snoop Dogg 69 XXX underscore.
And back then, you couldn't really change your screen name.
Oh no.
So, like, you could, it's something you can do now, but now it's kind of like, well, I've been doing this so long, why even bother?
Well, yeah, well, that's because... I mean, it just basically let you get rise to things like people joining clans on FPSs.
Yeah.
Which has always seemed the stupidest thing to me. It's like, oh, I'm part of this clan, what does that mean? Absolutely nothing.
I think a lot of them are people that wanted to try and get into professional level stuff, but, you know, it's not going to happen for most people.
I mean, professional level FPSs is such a... I don't want to say sham, but yeah, sham.
I mean, esports are a sham.
Now I can pull my weight.
Because just like...
And I will die on that fucking hill. Esports are a sham.
Well, here's the thing.
Sports are a sham.
Well, here's the
I still
thing,
wish I
though.
could take advantage of it sometimes, though.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Esports only exist because basically game developers force them to exist. Like,
Kinda.
in the way they are, because, I mean, I guess sort of the one to sort of think on is like the Overwatch League, which only exists because Blizzard put fuckloads of money into make the Overwatch League actually a thing. Or like, you know, Dota, which only works because they say, hey, you have $1 million if you win Dota 2 tournaments.
It's just kind of funny because honestly, Dota and like League aren't even really fun games.
I've never found the enjoyment in them, but clearly there must be some level because people keep playing them.
Hell, even as a team game, they're not really good because you end up competing against your own team to beat the other team. To help your team, you must compete against your own team.
Hmm.
It's really counterintuitive.
Trust no one.
I remember
Not even yourself.
I remember
Not even your own team.
I remember I played Heroes of the Storm, just specifically to get the Overwatch-related skins, and it was like one of the most miserable gaming experiences I had. Because it's like, I don't know, it's like a game style that just doesn't suit with me because it's so... It's competitive, but it's like so... Every game was exactly the same. Like, even more, like, at least with FPSs, there's more tactile input.
Wait, what games is that? I'm sorry.
Heroes of the Storm. It's basically just any kind of mode.
Oh yeah. Well, Heroes of the Storm is like that. I would say it's more streamlined, and you don't really have to compete with your team because you level up with them. So I will say, as a team game, it's better, but it didn't catch on because it's just riding the coattails of a fad.
Well, yeah.
That is dying out. That you know, it started dying out when it came out.
Well, it can't, yeah, because it's competing against Dota and League, and they already have, like, massive...
Yeah, Dota and League are still, like, the big ones. They're still around, but, like, the other ones have kind of, like, fallen off the grid.
Well, it's like the what?
That tried it. It's kind of like the fucking... the Battle Royale thing that we have now. Like, that's gonna be falling off as soon as the next thing comes around. Which I think will happen in like in a year or two.
It's gotta be falling off now, because certainly new ones are not popping up nearly, like, anywhere near it.
Yeah, I haven't really seen them like they were. There isn't really a fad yet. But
I'm sure the game numbers are still there for people playing stuff like Apex Legends, but it definitely does not seem to be quite as prevalent in terms of, oh, everyone's playing. Which it was.
Yeah, not really. Like it is. Yeah, it's not really as big as it was.
Oh, what kind of idiot are you if you're not playing Apex Legends? The idiot who's playing Apex Legends and enjoying good games. I say this, I don't think I've played a new game in like months. It's unfortunate because I do actually need to find like 6 new games to play this year.
Like a completely different person.
Whoops. I'm fine. Judgment's coming out this month. I think Bloodstained is also coming out end of this month. They're both games I'm excited for. And we get to see the, like, shamed Japanese actor in our version of Judgment.
Well, they didn't delete him?
No, they decided why bother, because nobody in the West is going to give two shits.
Oh, that's a good thing to hear. Yeah, no. Japan's whole thing, like, you've done drugs, we're unpersoning you.
If you do drugs, you're impersonating you. You're a kiddler diddler. That's fine.
I mean, that just makes it sound like Ned Flanders.
It's true though.
Oh no, he did lead them
Kiddler diddler. He's doing kiddler diddler.
Uh,
Howdy ho, kiddler diddler.
and
I can't believe he tricked
some
us
days you
thus.
miss The Simpsons, and then
He'll pay for this
and then you
act of
remember.
treachery with his life.
No,
Oh, you know, what was it Sable? You know we're talking about like either the boy or the girl Corrin is in this game, the Fire Emblem Warriors game. I haven't seen the boy one yet, so I'm thinking I have to look it up because I did hear he was in the game. I'm thinking depending on if you pick the prince or the princess as your main character, it might affect which one of the two you get.
well,
No, it's just a girl by default.
oh good, because Girl Corrin is best Corrin.
It's
girl,
true.
Girl Corrin is default and male Robin is default. So,
I mean,
but the other ones are in the game, but only as like alternate characters for like mission mode only.
no one gives a shit about no one gives a shit about Robin.
And they still trust their friend. Not a doubt in their mind. No
Do you
power
care
in
about
this
Robin?
world or any other
No.
can shake their
Exactly.
faith in him.
I still say the protagonist of Awakening was Lucina
Do you know why you don't give a shit about Robin?
because he's just an avatar.
Because he plays like garbage in Smash Bros.
It's a powerful
Am I
thing.
wrong?
If you believe in Darius,
No.
then I shall
Like,
as well.
I don't know, man. Robin's that character where if you're doing, where it's like, is the worst if you're doing like multiple people battles.
Join forces with us, and let's
Like,
learn
because,
together.
he's just gonna sit there and charge up Floron, but I've got like 6 other guys I need to go and fight instead. And then when you're,
And while he's, well, I mean, like when I see one charging, I just walk up and start punching him in the dick.
I mean, all well and good, but then when you've got another guy who's like, oh, I'm gonna 1v1 you scrub, and it's like, no, I want to beat up Robin, and then every other game, when you fight Robin solo 1v1, you can't do anything because you can't charge up Floron, and Floron's a really good move.
True.
Also, not only is female Corrin default, but female Corrin as like with the black armor is default, whereas the male one defaults to the white one.
You get black armor Corrin as their upgraded unit form.
Yeah, and for the male one, his upgrade will be the white one.
Ah, you're here.
I mean, that makes sense because it's because of the fates. Because one's for, fuck, I'm forgetting the names. One's for conquest, one's for birthright.
Yeah.
Come
So
again.
I just thought that was interesting.
One's for what? It just depends on what level of incest you're into, really. Like, do you want?
Or you could be me and you just not do incest.
I mean, I don't think you're playing Fire Emblem right, Dan.
Apparently, I'm not because I don't do that.
Well, each version gives you a different, like the black, the Noir armor is like has offensive magic, whereas the Hoshido one has like healing instead.
Ah, it's pussy armor. Gotcha.
So that's Atola's
Unless you play
Stones throw away now.
the third one, then you can be either one.
Yeah.
You can be either one, and you get the chainsaw sword.
Ah, the old Pokemon Gambit released 2 meh versions, so you can release the third good, complete version later.
Actually, it's just a DLC,
No.
which is like slightly cheaper than a full game, but you know.
Yeah,
Um,
but you need
not
one
by
of the
much.
full games to play it.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you need to still buy the game twice.
Yeah, they didn't sell it.
Oh no!
They didn't sell it separately.
You can either buy it twice or you can buy the other path as DLC. That's the other way you can take it.
Right.
You could buy the other game as DLC, which was also slightly discounted as not as much as a full game. So, I mean, in a way,
No.
it's a little cheaper.
It's not.
Don't worry, Elise.
Not by much
I'm
though.
enjoying it too.
On the bright side, at least this one they're not splitting off into 3
This
games.
war council has quickly
Yeah.
lost focus, I see.
Oh, you mean,
Everyone worked up, but I'm
3
sure they'll
houses.
come back.
Houses? No, instead they're just putting the three houses in the game.
Even I am
Yeah.
feeling the excitement.
No,
And there's also a fishing minigame.
of course.
It's
Oh,
a
of
true
course there
RPG
is.
now.
I mean, it's Japan. Like,
Why do they like
It's a
fishing
true
mini
RPG.
games so much?
Because Japan's, for the longest time, Japan's like
All of us.
primary food resource has been two things. It's either been like rice and noodles or fish,
Or fish.
and so it's like a cultural thing where like they just like entire families have grown up at fishing, and so it's like kind of yeah. It's like hunting in America
I'll go and collect
Um,
Queen Yelena.
or stoning sinners in England.
Come then.
It's just that it's just that national pastime you do, you know. That's you've just grown up with it.
That's right. People are supposed to hunt here, except there's not much to hunt in New Jersey.
You could always hunt man.
They frown upon that.
Why?
Or groundhogs.
What?
Why? Man is the most dangerous game, apparently.
Who wants to hunt groundhogs?
Although we finally had a shooting up here like a couple weeks ago, so
Whoa.
Congratulations.
Better not be lying,
Yeah.
Cheerios.
It's true.
we're starting to feel left out. Yeah, there was a shooting in a nightclub in Trenton,
What a shame.
and everyone was like, "How is that possible? New Jersey has one of the strictest gun laws in the country."
We'll save Mother.
If you're eager to die
Yeah.
before your mother, I can accommodate.
I mean, we've talked about this before. I've talked about this with Trainman before. Is like, it's kind of funny. We have very strict gun laws in New Jersey, and then Pennsylvania has very loose gun laws.
But I guess the trade-off is it was only a nightclub that got shut up, not a school. So you're still technically winning.
True.
And only a beach recently. It's not a joke. There was a beach shooting recently.
I
Yeah.
mean, Dan was
I mean,
that.
the Jersey Shore is a pretty dangerous place, so I mean,
I don't know. It was Virginia actually.
Oh
yeah.
well,
okay.
it's just Virginia. Those guys.
I mean, most people at the Jersey Shore aren't even locals, so you know,
Good luck out there.
fake New Jersey people.
Why would you
True.
be a fake New Jersey person?
I don't know. Boredom.
It's like, well, I mean, I guess it's like being a fake
What's my
Alabama
task?
person.
What's my task? I'll see that it's.
Like I said, I have no idea. Boredom. That's all I can guess.
What's my task? How's
Hmm.
this?
Optimize their weapons right now.
Hey, you guys did it. You have a shooting. You're one of the cool kids.
Finally.
Yeah,
How's this?
I was starting to feel left out.
I still just like that your president, on his,
How's this?
just on the way over here, got about a controversy.
How's
It's like
this?
not even
I mean,
touchdown.
he can't like. He can't go a day without
Such
controversy.
a petty thing that happened. That didn't you even hear about what happened?
Let's go.
No,
I just,
he's a
I
petty
just know,
man.
I just know that he
so-
showed up and like people were like protesting on the streets, and he didn't even do anything yet.
Oh, the protests were already organized before he even as soon as they knew he was coming. But it's more, he's just started like tweeting and giving shit to the mayor of London, which was like, why the mayor of London? The mayor of London's such a pissant job. You don't do anything as mayor of London.
I've received a report.
It basically exists to keep people they don't want in Parliament out of Parliament. I'm not 100% joking, honestly, because that's when Boris Johnson was, and actually, oh wait, right, you're right, know who he is. I'm not gonna ruin your virgin minds with that knowledge.
He can't be far from here.
See, now
That's
I'm just
good
more
to know.
curious.
The mission
It's like
is
Trump, right? But not as overtly Trump. Like with just like almost degrees of subtlety. Or I guess it'd be Trump if everything he did was actually part of an act,
getting stronger.
which I think makes it worse. Like, it's one thing to be an idiot; it's another thing to pretend to be an
To
idiot.
pretend to be a Nimrod.
But you know, I'll put it this way: when Boris Johnson was mayor of London, he invested millions upon millions of pounds in purchasing these new water cannons for our fire engines. You know, that'd be a great idea. Except it turns out those water cannons were actually illegal by laws on water pressure and such. Oops.
This is fine.
So it's a lot of money gone down the toilet to literally no benefit. So
What do you mean? What do you mean? It
I
was
also
perfectly fine.
got stuck on a zip line for a few hours, which was funny, but they should have just left him there.
stuck on a zip line.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you're an old man who does stupid shit to improve your profile. But hey, he's probably going to be the next Prime Minister, so yay. Oh,
So just like Trump.
worse than... I would argue worse than Trump.
Oh, more competent.
Is such a thing possible?
Well, yeah, you beat Trump, but then you actually be competent at doing your shit.
It's not even that. It's just... It's like... He's not competent. He's terrible in every sort of political position he's held. It's more the case of, like... It's not a very good time to be Prime Minister at the moment. I'll just say that because I don't really want to go into it because it just makes me angry. So, like, imagine if you had Trump as president during the Great Depression.
Okay.
So it's that kind of...
I'm pretty sure there wouldn't be in America anymore if that happened.
Yeah. You can see why I'm not happy.
Now we've got a turret at our disposal.
It's that case of being in a very, very precarious position on a lot of subjects.
Wow.
And you're about to give an actual clown the keys to the access to a nuclear option.
I'm sure the royal family will save you. Ha 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 ha.
I mean, they literally don't do anything, so...
Oh, that was a joke.
They're just a very, very, very expensive, it's like artwork, right? It's like an art gallery. They basically exist to be looked at and go, oh, isn't that nice? But they cost millions upon millions of pounds to keep there.
So why do we keep them?
I ask that question a lot.
That's all clear.
People say for heritage reasons, and I think that's dumb. I think we should just do what Lenin did,
What's funny is that my country is also really obsessed with them.
Yeah, well, that's the other problem, is they're very good at it.
That's because we have people here that wish they could be royalty, but they can't because it's against the Constitution.
Evidently,
Thank you, George Washington.
I mean...
The country was literally founded because we hate people with royal blood telling us what to do, so...
Yeah, no, I was saying thank you for George Washington. I wasn't even sarcasm.
I mean,
yeah.
people with royal blood don't tell us what to do, we technically tell them what to do.
I know, but at the time they did.
They just have fuckloads more money than any of us do. So,
Yeah, the crowns didn't fall. Yeah, the crowns didn't fall until the end of World War One. Like World War One is pretty much what made the crowns all fall.
we had constitutional monarchy before that. You're talking about like shit like the Magna Carta here. So basically, you've heard of Oliver Cromwell, right? I might have even given this story before.
Cromwell, refresh me.
So basically, like quite a while ago, there was English Civil War, right? Because it was between like Oliver Cromwell and a whole bunch of people in Parliament.
Man, people are just yelling all over Sabo on Sabo's end. Jesus.
Well, my mom just came in, so she's greeting Roscoe.
Roscoe's the dog.
Roscoe's the dog, yes. Roscoe was the dog crying before.
So yeah. So you had like the English Civil War, right? Which basically ended with King Charles II being executed and establishing Oliver Cromwell as Prime Minister. Oh, sorry. This is the English Civil War. It's like 1640 something.
Oh, so that was way before the French Revolution.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I thought you just decided to step down when the French and the Russians basically killed their royal families, and they were like, you know what? We'll just stay here and be rich. You guys can run things.
I like living.
We're good. We don't need the guillotine.
So basically, what happened was King Charles got his head cut. King Charles II got executed after he lost the war, and then Parliament was sort of not specifically just then, but here around the same time was transitioning to being the ruling power of England, which removed a lot of power from the monarchy, and it just there was devolution of power for a long time until more or less over the course of the next 100 or 300 years until now you're at this point where they basically do nothing. there are a whole bunch of formalities. Like laws technically have to be signed. Technically, don't become laws until the Queen puts her signature to them, but she can't actually refuse to sign anything. So
It's literally just like, it's just a show, basically.
She has to sign it. They're like, here's the law. You have no choice but to sign it.
yep.
Did she like refuse, but like it'll still go into effect anyway?
Well, she can't refuse.
Oh.
Like literally what I just said. She has no choice in the matter. That's why monarchy. That's why the monarchy is kind of basically exists so people can go, oh, isn't that nice? These people, these really rich, famous people had a really rich and famous baby.
Pretty much.
And it's like I don't like. I get annoyed at that because it's like you see like papers and everything, and everyone's fawning over. Oh, look at this! Look at the little prince, or look at this child, and it's like, can't you just leave the kid alone? Like, life is basically gonna be his life is never gonna have a normal life. Just let it have like a normal few years, and then start with this shit.
Right.
Like, let it at least pretend like it's gonna not have a life, because I'm sure it will never want for anything, but kind of life is now. You're just forever stuck under the public eye.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Some people
It's
like
still
it.
like annoying when you're just being badgered by the public eye and all the stupid tabloid magazines and shit.
Yeah. And unlike saying famous people, they can't just tell people to fuck off and be done with it.
They also can't really hide either.
Well, that's what happens when your house is sort of major tourist attraction. But yeah, monarchy is dumb. I said it.
What a controversial take.
You say this, it actually probably is. Like,
They're deploying the Queen's Guard to your place to kill you right now.
I heard what you were saying about me, Trade Man!
they can't move. That's fine. I mean,
I'll get you for this, Trade Man!
I thought they
I'm
can.
coming!
I thought they can move, but like
they can.
just enough to not give themselves blood clots.
They are allowed to move, and they can definitely respond to people giving them shit on the street.
Yeah.
Shit. And they are like SAS trained, so it's generally not a good idea.
They're just not allowed to smile or laugh
Yeah.
or show any kind of emotion, but like
Well, they stand there, do their job, because they're just thinking, man, I'm glad I'm not in an active war zone right now.
kind of like the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, except those guys actually constantly march around
Well, except
and get to yell at the stupid tourists who keep trying to approach the tomb and take pictures of it.
Oh, I guess that's the point. Have you guys had the big D-Day 75 years since D-Day thing?
I mean,
I'm sorry, say it again? I was
the news
killing someone.
is talking about it. I don't know if we're doing anything.
I mean, I know it's trending.
I was just wondering if that was like as big over there as it here, because obviously,
Oh, it is. Because I saw like a magazine cover, it's like, the 24 hours that saved the world.
I mean, I'm not trying to sound. I'm not gonna shit on people who obviously died, and mad respect for them and all that lot. But like, you see, the greatest thing we could do to honor these people is to not keep making the exact same mistakes again and again and again. But we do. So you kind of reach this point where it's like, it's where I specifically get annoyed where it's people say all this shit like, oh, we'll never forget, but you do. Oh, but time.
We won't this time.
Well, apart from all the other times we forgot. Like, how many times have all of our society's been told about the literally imminent threat of climate change? And then every time it's like, yeah, we'll do something maybe in about 50 years, but 50 years is kind of our deadline. Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, we'll do it in 50 years, eh? Clearly. It'll be 50 years, we have 50 years.
We'll do it in 50 years when we're all dead and we don't care how screwed up the planet is.
Yeah, it's... Yeah. Like I said, the greatest honor we could do would be to actually solve our problems, but we don't, so... I don't know, it just definitely feels incredibly, that's what I generally dislike about the whole sort of attitude to fallen soldiers, where it's not about sort of remembering them and trying to make the world into a place that's not like that. It's just kind of it almost feels like lip service, so you can justify all the things, you can justify all the stances you take and the things you do and the sort of stupid, petty grievances we all have with each other. Just by,
Big Boss.
just by saying, just by all of that. And it's like I don't know. Then again, like I guess America has a very, I guess I should actually be careful because America does have what I would call almost cult-like obsession with the armed forces,
They do.
where it's like you could literally, where they can't do wrong, and that's mildly scary. The way some people are deified, because it's like, yeah, like obviously they have a very stressful job that has, horrible implications and lasting impacts upon them. But there is also the argument that it's a job they shouldn't actually be doing anyway. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. But there's definitely, like,
Sometimes I wonder if I should join, but I'm like, nah.
I mean, would you really want to go to the Middle East?
Not really. But I mean, you don't have to go to the Middle East.
You don't have to, but then, like,
Only if you join for infantry, which I would never do.
what would you join for?
I don't know.
I don't think mech pilot is an option.
Yeah, I don't think they've made those yet.
To be honest, when I was like very, very little, I wanted to join the Air Force and be a fighter pilot, but I had glasses. So
Yeah, and then they
instead
get,
of that,
and then they put out the F-35, a plane designed solely to kill its pilots.
yeah.
So that put a damper on that.
Yeah, so that was kind of the end of that. So I don't know.
I made a great plane.
My uncle was like, always have a military job in mind. So because if they reinstate the draft, you want to like immediately jump to that before they draft you. Otherwise, they'll send you like into the meat grinder. Because that's what he did in World War II. He was like my draft number is going to come up soon. Well, I guess I'll join the Air Force as a mechanic. That way I won't get shot at. And it worked.
I mean, yeah, but the problem is that we've rapidly reached a point where
My friend wanted me to join the Marines with him, but I was like, yeah, hell no. I'm not that tough.
Well, here's the problem, right? Is we're rapidly reaching. We've already reached a point where conventional forces are irrelevant. Well, because think of like,
Oh, he died.
oh, he's back. But if you think about it, right? So like, any war between major superpowers is not going to be fought with like people actually shooting each other across a battlefield. It's going to be fought with computers, or bomb, or nukes. And like any kind of other sort of less technologically developed nation, any other sort of less technologically developed nation, is just going to fight guerrilla tactics, which standing army doesn't really work against, as proven many times.
They must be controlled remotely. Let's check the force in each direction.
Like, I know we want to say the war on terror didn't work, did it?
What?
Vietnam didn't work.
What?
So you can't, as I said, they're not like you can't really beat guerrilla tactics. Oh, sorry, I was just explaining that the army's sort of obsolete. It's like major superpowers aren't really going to go to war, and if they are, it's not going to be fought. It's going to be fought with computers and bombs.
Yes.
Not with people shooting each other across a battlefield anymore.
Pretty much, not unless they like severely upgrade their infantry to like Metal Gear levels of like nanomachines and mech suits.
Yeah, basically, you need to like completely go into the next level, and even then, it's still going to be far easier just to like have someone sit in the pilot seat, or sit in a computer chair and control a drone from 5,000 miles away, and then blow up a hospital.
If we find and eliminate,
Made friend. So yeah, it's like We might, maybe one day we'll actually, I mean, probably won't see like America or other sort of super nations or other nations that like really sort of big up military,
Mission starting.
disengage forces, but you might see other sort of smaller countries start doing it. Just drastically reduce forces because, I mean, the threat of invasion is not going to be happening.
Problem is, if they do that, there's always the risk that someone was like, well, though they've reduced their forces, we should invade them. Maybe
I really don't
maybe
think
we can put one over on them.
I don't think there's any country that's actually going to do that, though. Or would actually have the capability of doing it. Well, think about it, all the other antagonistic countries. So it's like, what, you're afraid that Russia's going to invade? I mean, Russia won't do that because they know that in a protracted fight, then everyone will go against them. And they just don't have the technology and the resources to really keep up with everyone else. Like, Russia doesn't really have powerful allies anymore. China doesn't, because China doesn't give a shit. China will just do its own thing. And China have like no interest in ever fighting wars. They'd rather just, you know, take over the world with money.
Yeah, they're going for the money victory.
Money and control.
Like other countries that used to be superpowers or in danger of being superpowers have fallen by the wayside. So,
North Korea will help them.
oh,
Kim can use his Jesus powers that he supposedly has.
I mean, North Korea is also just a lot of bluster for just basically say, look, I'm so important.
True.
I mean, hell, this like the second his, I mean, hell, the whole thing we're all worried about is the end of nuclear weapons, and then that kind of went tits up. And now he's backed off and nobody cares anymore.
I've received a report.
He only like occasionally like says something.
It's because his nuclear test is implied to have blown up all his scientists by accident.
Yeah, that's why I said it went tits up.
Convenient.
Forward is ours.
I wouldn't really call it convenient. I actually call it very inconvenient.
Yeah, no, I think it was a legitimate screw up. Like,
Oh,
They
oh yeah, I
totally-
forgot that their whole system is like Wile E. Coyote because it was constantly happening with them.
like they totally thought they had a working nuclear weapon and had all their scientists in one place, and then it blew up and killed them all, and that's why his tune suddenly changed from "Yeah, we are badass and you will fear us" to "Sorry, Mr. Trump, can we be friends again?"
All we have to do now is maintain control. I've received a
But yeah.
report.
So I do wonder about that Persona, about the Persona Dynasty Warriors game.
Well, oh, that's
I mean-
scramble.
Oh yeah, I am curious about like what they're gonna do with it.
As I said, I'm curious if what other like Persona series might get might get in. I wouldn't be surprised if we got the 3 and 4. If we got the cast of 3 and 4 specifically.
I think that's what we'd probably get.
That's
Specifically,
about all we're going to get. Although you never know, because the trailer for Royal, which also introduced the new girl, showed an enemy from Persona 2, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, I remember." Like it's just a shadow type, but like it's a shadow type of a notably different design they don't use anymore that they used in the first 2 games. So maybe they'll use them again, but
Hey.
probably not.
I mean, they have been like threatening to do more stuff with 1 or 2, or at least in line with 1 and 2. Remember when Persona 5 was going to be as different from 3 and 4 as 3 was from 1 and 2,
Yeah, that didn't last very
and then
long.
it wasn't.
Then it wasn't. Then it was basically just. I mean, it had a lot of nods to 1 and 2 with like the guns and like the darker story.
Mm.
Problem is, they didn't want to do 1 and 2 because Hashino, for whatever reason, like just outright refused to use someone else's work. He claims it was out of respect.
It's kind of funny because it's kind of funny because he stepped down from it
Ah,
now.
the Nobu.
Well,
The mission started.
well, the thing is, he said it was because he claimed it was out of respect, but people weren't sure if it was that or if he and the guy were just feuding and he didn't want to use their characters. But now he's gone, and the new guy like. He doesn't own any of the characters anyway, so he's like, well, I didn't create any of these, so it doesn't really matter to me whether I use 1 or 2 or not.
Coming for you, mother.
Because 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and 5 are basically the same because I didn't make any of them.
Wasn't there a thing with Nomura, where that was about Nomura who didn't want to do anything that he didn't have a hand in designing?
Yeah, he didn't want to use characters in Kingdom Hearts that
It wasn't like
he didn't
Setzer.
design.
That's why, for some reason, I think someone forced him to put Setzer in.
He did design Cesar, that's why he was the only character
Oh.
in.
Oh, there was someone
It was a
in.
moot, but it was a moot point. No, it was Vivi he didn't design that, like,
Oh,
they,
right.
they insisted
Oh
on.
yeah.
Phoebe was the one they forced in.
But it ended up being a moot point because there were no Final Fantasy characters in 3 anyway. And he did an interview saying, I don't need them anymore. My Kingdom Hearts characters are popular enough to stand on their own.
Oh, except Sora, who had no life.
Or who had no life. This was the same interview where he implied that he identified more with Xehanort than Sora. So I'm like, so you're an evil person that hates everyone? Okay.
I think
That would
he's
explain a
I
lot.
think he's just an angsty teenager,
Pretty much.
I mean, that explains a lot.
even though he's like a 40-year-old man.
He seems like an angsty teenager with the things that he enjoys.
Well, I mean, you do think that he has definitely sort of taken on board all those
Also,
things.
Veritum Rex.
Yeah.
Not to this but like the whole thing is created purely out of salt that he was kicked off at 15 and it wasn't the way he wanted it to be. So he's just like, well, I'll just use Kingdom Hearts 3 to get my own 15. You won't stop me.
I mean, maybe if he'd have actually finished 15,
Finishing games is hard.
like, it's not like, come on. I know, it's not fair. It's not nice that Nomura got kicked off of his dream project, but like, he also has to like actually produce results at some point. You can't just keep sitting there and saying, yeah, eventually we'll release like gameplay or make some progress.
Fools distract you.
You don't want to go full. You don't want to go like full
Time is up.
3D realms.
It's such a shame.
Was it 3D realms you did? Duke Nukem Forever?
Yes.
So be.
I almost wanted to call them.
Oh wait, no. Forever was
Hand them
because they did 3D. Because they did Forever was the same people who did Borderlands.
Gearbox.
Damn it.
Oh, it was them. It was them
Yes.
after. It was them eventually, but like,
Wise
Duke.
decision
But I'm pretty sure they did.
for us.
Duke Nukem. 3D realms was the people who were still doing it. It's because then they got bought by 2K, and 2K said, no, you have to make this game now. Release it. I don't care anymore. You've put too much money in this fuckfest to not get something out of it.
You didn't get anything. And like one of the complaints with Duke Nukem Forever is it's alright, but it seems like a game that came out a decade prior, and I'm like, well, that's probably because that's how long they were working on it for.
And that's the
Probably.
baffling thing. Apparently, they were working on it almost continually. It's just every time they got anywhere, they would then decided to do shit like change the engines or change the systems or.
For 13, not 13. 15. Well, 13
No,
as well.
for
but
Duke
15.
Nukem Forever. With 15, it was
For Forever. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, the cutscene was going
with
on.
15. It's like literally just I don't know. Like I don't think 15 had like a really clear design direction from the get-go.
Impossible.
No, it was like, I want to do a game about a road trip, and they're like, okay, but you can't do a Final Fantasy game based on a road trip.
Watch me.
And then they did.
So he was like, okay, yeah, and then they kind of did, but like to the point where it looks like there's two separate parts. Like, then then the road trip stops and the actual game starts, and that's the end of the road trip until the post game.
But we're gonna stop here. It's a little over an hour,
Mhm.
and I finished the level that I was playing.
Hooray!
So we'll see y'all next time, which maybe there'll be more dopey stuff that happens. I don't know. Have a good day.